Uh, I don't think so. Of course, Snapfire used to be a thing in Southeast Asia quite a lot, even picked up first and played mostly in the offlane.
Hmm.
I'm not sure if they're going to be doing it here, but I love your idea of a safe lane Kunkka Snapfire. The Snapfire comes over, a little shredder to someone, and you kind of feel like you're safe, and then you get a Tidebringer to the face. A lot of the heroes would go into minus armor, and the Tidebringer would hurt you
Yeah.
so much, especially when they would get more levels on the Kunkka and the Snapfire, and you have so much catch with the axe and the cookie. So I actually would like to see that one for sure, and something else laning with Rubik. We'll see if Hydra decides to do it and bait. They pick up a Queen of Pain and Dandy. He is drafting, so I'm like, is he gonna tell his captain I'm sick of this hero? But it seems like he loves playing it and will continue to do so even in this game.
Yeah, he has been playing a lot of QoP.
10 seconds to pick.
Seems to be the hero he wants to go with. He has some good impact with it. I have to give him that.
Remain.
I feel like if he just has the pieces around this Queen of Pain, it might just be the successful piece that they're waiting for. We're going to go for a Mirana. So we have our good old Nightmare into Arrow combination from bait. We have our 2 cores. We just need a Violent hero. And Violet's hero pool has been diminished by at least 3 heroes so far. Which other heroes do they remove from his hero pool? I'm actually trying to bring up Violence hero pool in the current few days, or current few weeks in this case. He has played Kunkka, Morphling, Medusa PA, Luna, Drow Ranger TB, and then a couple of heroes with just 1 game. So out of those, what would you suspect they look for?
Well, TB would probably be the most common one, but to be honest, something like an Ursa here seems awesome to me. The reason I'm not so fond of the Queen of Pain, and even this draft from Bait, is that they only have magical damage, and they're playing now against 3 strength heroes. Your only target is really the Rubik, and it's gonna be in the backline. People tend to forget Snapfire is a strength hero. Very, very tough skin on this little lizard protecting the grandma. So in my mind, Bait, they are lacking so much physical damage. These guys, they don't have a lot of armor. So I'm because of that reason, I'm just not too fond of their heavy magical damage lineup. Also, burst damage coming out from them. But Kunkka, he gets the boat out, and every single hero on the side of Hydra will survive, outlive you in a fight, and finally bring you down. Also, Queen of Pain and the Mirana, very mobile heroes against the Kunkka, against the Rubik, Snapfire. All of these are heroes with stuns. Looking at Hydra, they're just looking pretty solid. And of course, Mirana would love to go and roam around with the Bane, but leaving the Magnus alone in a Snapfire Wraith King lane, we know how that's gonna go. It's gonna go really, really bad for you.
Bait is also down to 1 second on reserve time. That will remove the Underlord. They will get a Lifestealer ban. Lifestealer looking like a strong pick against the Wraith King. Really good against all of these strength heroes. A lot of HP regen. Not HP regen, but percentage-based damage. And overall, lifesteal is pretty nice here against Hydra's heroes. So, do they leave the TB into the pool? It seems to be Hydra's option now. Do they want to let it through? Do they counter it with a last pick? You know, something like a Zeus, for example, Tinker. If he wants to play them, and exactly, he will not let the TB through with the Enigma ban from Bait. Now let's see, what does Violent want to play?
I think Ursa or Troll. Those are the ones I want to see up. There's the
Yeah,
Ursa.
you mentioned the Ursa before, so yeah, Ursa last pick. Goes well with the Magnus. Here's the Vision giving frontlining melee core to utilize Empower Cleave with Magnus, and I like it.
The burst damage from Hydra isn't that great, so that they can bring him down from 100 to 0 before he uses the BKB and his ulti. They have a lot of stunts, but still committing that hard on him. You have a Bane save, you have a Magnus RP. It's not going to be easy to do. You give yourself a little bit of Roche potential, so if Hydra decide to split push the map, outmaneuver you, can just walk into Roche and force out the fight. So I definitely like this one. It gives you a potential of winning against the Kunkka in the safe lane, though they could send the Kunkka into the mid lane and pick something like a Venomancer now to be super annoying to the Ursa if they want to, or something along those lines that will ultimately just make his laning impossible. So let's see what Hydra does here. I'm still not sure if the Kunkka goes into the mid lane, but I feel like against the Queen of Pain, he should be doing quite well for himself.
Yeah, Kunkka QoP is a nice lane, but I do feel like they put the Kunkka into the off lane because we do have a puck pick. This could also be an off lane puck. It is going to be Askel playing the puck in mid. So here we have our drafts on both sides. And is this the game? Is this the draft for Bait to win? To tie this into 1-1? What do you think?
I think not. I love the Ursa pick,
Aw.
but the rest of it, you know, the Puck is a great counter to the Queen of Pain, to the Magnus. It's a great counter even to the Bane. You don't have much catch overall for the Puck. Sleep into Arrow is your best bet, but as I said, during the laning phase, Magnus cannot be left alone against the Snapfire Wraith King. That leaves Laguna just having to play there, and not something that he wants to do. Queen of Pain cannot threaten the Kunkka, and of course the Puck, he can just TP somewhere and get those easy kills. So overall, I feel like Hydra are going to be coming out super strong out to this laning phase, and I kind of feel like it's going to come down to, can Violent completely crush his lane? But Kunkka and Rubik, they're not to be underestimated, and they can keep the Ursa low enough so that he can't go on the aggressive. And if all of that happens, which is very likely, Hydra will have a very, very easy game 2 here.
Well, it does come down to this one map. It's one map at a time from now on for Bait. Otherwise, Hydra's going to close this series 2-0, continue marching with their victories. They are 2-0 currently in the groups. That would take them to first place in Division 2. Those standings are they're of not so big importance at this early stage of the tournament. Well, I mean, it's important to score victories for sure and get those early points. But the fact is, you don't want to be at the bottom at least. And Bait has quite a long way to climb. Get that first MAC victory. That's where it all starts. Your first win. That's what Bait needs. They need that first win to get their game going.
I kind of feel like Hydra, they already had really tough opponents. Windstrike, they beat them. Namiga, they beat them. Namiga is not a weak team, even though they are 0-2 right now. They're a very, very powerful team. You could see it from their movement that they know exactly what they're doing. But Hydra, they were just ready for them. So Hydra already having 2 very, very important wins with them, and I think they're one of the teams that we should be looking towards, just going into the Division 1.
Yep.
So
Potentially,
we might see an engagement.
Smokes are going to pop. Gotsy trying to get that Nightmare. He's so close to catching it, but the Wraith King has a faster movement speed, so no first blood, at least for now. And back to the topic of the teams and the matches. Yes, Hydra has had some difficult opponents so far. They're still the harder ones to match up right now. CIS Rejects, Gambit Esports. That's Gambit's second team. Don't confuse this with AS Monaco, as Monaco is their main team. Though for Bait, even outside of this series, are you considering teams like Fantastic 5, maybe even V Gaming? I mean, these are teams that they could potentially match up for some victories and keep themselves in the second division after the end of the season. So those games are going to be later on, and I think those games are going to grow super big in importance for Bait too, if they're played on like week 5 or week 6, because those are potentially elimination series already, and we might not even see tiebreakers, you know. But that's in January. We can talk about that then. We have to focus on this game right now. Dendi with a co-op, Ascald with the Puck.
Mirana starting bottom lane. So okay. Laguna, he wants to make sure that Ursa has a good time, and okay, he's not going to stay there for a long time. Yeah.
And he's out. Ascald starts with Orb, wants to secure the range creep, but Dendi already, like we saw in the previous game, loves to brawl, loves to make a stance, or a stand in some sense in the lane. That he wants to brawl a lot, trade his HP to secure a lot of hits onto the opponent. And he's doing the same here with Ascald.
Sometimes against the Puck, you actually decide not to go for the Shadow Strike at all. We'll see what he decides to do. Maybe just gets 1 point there to bait out a point of phase shift coming out from Ascald, but you're not going to be seeing it taken anymore. And nah, he doesn't even take 1 point. He understands that it's pretty much not worth it, and we'll just go for the farming build here.
Yep. And a very important start here as well for Dendi. He's already picked up 3 Denies. Ascald's still level 1 on this Puck, and Dendi's almost level 3. So with these range creeps, where he gets 1, should be able to get the second one too. Ascald level 2. Now has phase shift, so very important tool to dodge those right clicks, dodge those screams. Violent hops. Sayats is trading hits with Morana. Laguna's Morana. Haven't actually seen him play this hero before, so I guess
Morana has been it has been the top position for a very long time. I mean, not like the best one, but has been played for 2 years at least. And pretty much any position 4 player in Europe, I'd say, can play this hero pretty well. But top lane Dream in a little bit of trouble, but they missed the skewer.
Yeah, skewer missed. Again, another opportunity for Dream to walk out. Gets to pop his
On lane
salve.
Blizzy.
Yep. It's still not out of the clear. He's take a lot of damage, diminish the effects of the tango at least. He's still got another set of them. Got a lot of regen. I think they have more regen flowing into the lane. We got wards coming out. Konka's courier is bringing nothing right now. What is he? Where is he sending this courier?
Well, he wants to go for the Helm of Iron Will, but that's in your base, my friend. Maybe he's gonna buy a Ring of Health, which would be weird, I have to say.
Hello, kitty. Yep. He might notice it at some point. Like, why is this item taking for so long to arrive? But maybe this is part of a bigger plan. Maybe he just wants to bring himself a Ring of Health. Yeah, he's sending it back to base. Okay, Kitty is going back home.
Yeah, one thing, Panda here, that Dandy, he crushed this mid lane. This is the thing. This is a seasoned player who has played this matchup a billion times, and he knows exactly what to do against the puck. He has better animation, he has better damage, and the Queen of Pain, because of it, he might not be able to harass the puck as much as he would want, but he's definitely outdoing himself in this mid lane, Dandy. So anyone there, top lane?
That first wave was really important. Zayat's first blood. Laguna just needs to get the right click off, but he keeps on cutting out vision and canceling the attack animation. Forces, okay, this is even better. He forces the salve out from Zayat and gets the first blood. So, man, I'm not sure was that a 200 IQ play or something, but right now, Laguna not only gets the kill, but he also forces some mental damage with that lost salve, 100 gold down the drain. So, big plays from Laguna.
Yeah, beautifully done. This Magnus and a Mirana lane is working out really well. Beyond his farming, pretty solid. You can see him a bit behind the Wraith King, but obviously the creeps are now going towards his tower, and he should be able to get most of the last hits here. Already has the Helm of Iron Will, gonna be the exact same build as he had in the previous one. The Mirana and the Magnus are a very, very formidable lane because Mirana constantly pushes in, then the with the killing the range creep, then the creeps go into your tower, and suddenly you're close to the enemy tower where the Magnus actually shines. So very nicely done by Bait overall in this top lane, and also Mirana, not a hard hero to play.
Yeah, a little bit of an attempt there on the Bane, but Nightmare is enough to dodge the Torrent X-Mark combo. He's gone for 2 points of Brain Sap. Knows that he needs to constantly keep up the harassment on this Rubik, and Konka can easily interrupt. Tidebringer also hurts. What they just did there was trading hits with Muka. Blizzy lines up for Tidebringer, hits one creep, but also gets the splash damage to connect onto this Bane. So 2 points in Nightmare is a no-go with this laning matchup. So here's a prime example of when you don't go for that build.
And HYDRA, they're really playing this lane well. You know, DRC is farming, but they're constantly keeping him on 70% HP, not allowing him to be aggressive. This is how you play against the Ursa, Slark, and heroes like that. They want to hit you 10 times, and then you just lose too much of your HP. So HYDRA, they understand this perfectly, and it seems like both of the offlanes are going to be doing quite well for themselves, but obviously Magnus a little bit lacking in the CS department, which is weird for a hero that just has that much potential to get a ton of CS, but bottom lane Violent, should be okay.
Yeah, he's looking to be okay here. Would love to trade more with this Konka, but usually the big problem here fighting against Konka in this lane is that he has so much HP, he has got a lot of damage, he's got a lot of armor. That Helm of the Iron Will picked up early on, he's already up to 11 armor. So try and kill that hero with your early damage, Ursa or not. Ascalt's a bit late there with the phase shift, unable to dodge the screams from this Quap. He's caught up in CS. And then he picks up a Haste Rune, and this might be a dead Rubik right here. He's gonna run all the way to the Bounty Rune, secure that for himself. Picked up, right clicks going out. There's a double stack though. Muka, gotta be careful with that. Yep, the screen will make sure of it. Gion also forced under the tower by Zayat, meanwhile, what that was happening.
And they'll stay for the stack as well. Dandy outdoing himself here, and Bane, one of the best heroes to secure the Rune Rubik. He just can't follow him, and he doesn't have the boots just yet, so that Bane, having more mobility, having ways to stop the Rubik from getting close, he will secure it for Dandy, and that's another kill, plus the stack. Bait, a very, very nice start for them. Overall, the lanes working out very nicely for them. So the Mirana, she didn't have to move here. You could say that he could have been the X factor, but Laguna understanding that the laning is the most important, but still on the top lane, look at this tower and how much damage it is actually taking.
There's a Blizzy snipes Violence Courier. They force Hydra's heroes back in this top lane at the same time. Tower does, yeah, takes a lot of damage. That's 1,000 damage dealt with that quick push. And that's also a bit of an issue here. Laguna and Pion, before they have the levels, they're going to have a difficult time to deal with these skeletons.
Interesting that Zayats went for
Ascol
the...
going for the kill on Gutsy here at the river. They will use the coil. Muka is there. They will pop the coil with the toss from the telekinesis. And that's going to be a kill for the puck.
Yeah, very nicely done there, but HYDRA finally getting themselves on the board. This is kind of some time where they start to be getting involved. 7 minutes in, that's usually when we see them getting those kills in the Division 2 of Eastern Europe. So finally, they will bring someone down, though it's going to be the least important hero. I wanted to point out Zayats, he went for 2 points in Little Shredder. For the lane, it's great. But now when it comes down to out-pushing the waves with the Snapfire, it's not going to be that easy for Zayat. So I'm curious to see how well he's going to be using this one to reduce the armor of the enemies. I guess he would like to play with Kunkka, but it's just not that easy to get close with the Snapfire later on.
And even if Zayats would go on a straight 1v1 with like Mirana or Bane, that Lil Shredder damage, I think that's what people really forget. It's not even about the minus armor at that point. That's 70 damage per shot at level 3. So this is where this spell really starts to hurt. 6 times 70. You do the quick math there.
Real big bottom lane.
It's like a 420 damage while Muka is down in the hands of Violent. Dendi making a rotation too. Still has Sonic Wave. So Coop could still make a quick move into one of the other lanes too. They've spotted Pion. Takes a bit of a beating here from Zayats with that level 3 Little Shredder. Does have a lot of HP regen. He's got a lot of armor too. He's already well prepared for that Little Shredder.
And even with this kind of a start for Bait, they were looking pretty solid. They're gonna be 1k gold behind after the laning stage. So when it comes to farm, HYDRA still looking quite well, though the first ones that are gonna be hitting their timing are definitely gonna be Bait. It's gonna be a blink on the Magnus in like 3-4 minutes. If he doesn't die, of course, it's gonna be Dendi rotating and maybe the Mirana getting her ulti. But that's why HYDRA, they want this tower down. They want their enemies to have least access to the Roche. Top lane.
Bit of a difficult attempt there. Tried to land the arrow. Would have actually connected if it weren't for the shockwave. Would have forced the Wraith King to make some movement there. But Pion was also forced to kill the skeletons at the same time because they were stacked up right in front of him. And now Hydra's just gonna... Dream is gonna do the same thing. Back to jungle. Farm his stacks. Then go back to pushing with the skeletons. And might be able to take the tower with the next push. Meanwhile, HYDRA smoking towards bottom. Violent might be in trouble. He's got Enrage. Lizzie's looking for the angle here with the Tidebringer, clearing out the creep wave. Ursa, he's in for an ill awakening. Radiant Scan has been used. He's hiding in the trees. And Smart Call. Smart move. He TPs straight away. Moves the hell out of that bottom lane. Because HYDRA would have found themselves a kill on Violent, like they did in game number 1. They killed the Luna really fast. This time, Ursa lives.
Yeah, but now Bait, they need to respond with the push of their own. Ursa is very strong. He can definitely go towards the top lane and maybe force out some TPs, but they're gonna be farming the stacks for now. At least that's some kind of an objective you're taking, but Bait, they're still gonna go for a move with the Mirana and the Bane, and I think like you can't sit idly while the bottom tower is being pushed. Maybe they can at least kill the Snapfire.
Yep, Snapfire was soaking some XP from the Ursa, but Violent will show up here. Overpowers used, 1-2, and that Storm damage. Interesting little ping there on top.
So this tower on the top lane that is very low from Bait, that could be a problem. They need to get this top lane tier 1 down as fast as possible, and that's why we see HYDRA, they're coming over. They want to defend it because they want to close out the map so that Ursa can't take Roche, and that's why Blizzy is here. That's why Dendi might be in some trouble.
Both does connect. Ascol is there. Fiend Script nicely placed by Gutsy. They can't cancel it. The stall though. The steal coming from Muka. He's going to try and look for the cancel, but he won't be able to. Dendi picks up a double kill. And Blizzy, they can't really touch this Kunkka, but they might be able to kill the Snapfire. Dendi looking for the angle. He's got the HP coming in from that salve. And look at that. That's a triple kill for Dendi. We've seen this before from Bait. They know how to handle this early fight with the Queen of Pain. I think I've seen this one before where Dendi picks up either a triple or even an ultra kill. And get that laning stage. Well, it's basically over at this point, but get some results out of it.
Yeah, very nicely done coming out from bait. The thing is though, HYDRA, they responded pretty well to that one as well. I don't mean the top lane, but Dream, he took the mid lane tower down. We talked about taking away Ursa's Roche potential. The top tier 1 and the mid tier 1, those are the two towers that you want to be looking at. That the mid tier 1 is gone and the top tier 1 is very, very low. So HYDRA, they're definitely going to be restricting the access to the Roche pit, which is something that Bait need to transition this game into something more. Sure, you're going to win that fight, but HYDRA, they've already created enough space for them to be happy with even losing those 3 heroes. It's not going to be the worst thing in the world just because that mid lane tower fell. So very nice presence of mind coming out from Dream, but Bait, it's good that they have the Magnus, so even if they can't take the Roche, the Ursa will be getting massive amounts of armor on the map.
Yes, and that Diffusal Blade is almost ready, just 100 gold short. And that will amplify this Ursa's damage output by quite a lot. And when you combine that with stuff like Fiend's Grip, oh man. Ursa can just blow up almost any target. Even the Konko would feel like a very soft target to hit.
But look at this. HYDRA, they know they're playing against one hero. They know that their spells, they counter every single one of the heroes on the side of Bait except for one, the Ursa. And that's why Blizzy is immediately going to be finishing off the Heaven's Halberd. Usually you would see something like an armlet go for the Kunkka or maybe an early BKB. But he knows that he has just one target. It's going to be Violent, who with the smoke is walking towards the Roche pit.
Yep, while the rest of Bait there. I think like they are literally baiting here in mid. Pion, Laguna, they can just buy some time for this Ursa to finish off Roshan. He's now starting to build up stacks. Pion might just pay the price here for this little encounter. HYDRA doesn't see it happening though. They will use the coil too. Gutsy is going to be falling. Roche is going down, and it will be picked up by Violence. So 2 kills go their way. And HYDRA, they instantly try to move into the triangle. Potentially, we're hoping for the Ursa to either run here, but they also have some wards on Muka. Can establish vision and control of this triangle. But Ursa, Diffusal Blade, and Aegis. We need to see what Bait's going to do with it.
Yeah, that's a big one. I have to say that's a big one, but if he loses the Aegis right now, it will be a disaster. He uses a scan though, so we'll be fine. And I have to say, HYDRA, they give a lot of emphasis on getting that mid lane tower down. They lost some heroes because of it, and still, Bait are gonna be able to get the Roche. So they might be in a 1k gold deficit, but Violent is very, very powerful right now. And if Bait do manage to get a fight going their way, it's gonna be quite big. With the top lane pushed in so far, I feel like Bait could go for a play very, very soon.
Solar Crest soon up on Zayat. So yeah, they're definitely buffing up this Wraith King. And this is a game for the Radiance. So a couple misses from this overpower. He will lose charges. I feel like Radiance is a good option. Good pickup here for the Wraith King. And not to even talk about the stolen Empower on Muka. With all these strength cores that they have, they're going to love this.
Yeah, literally they're just itemizing for the Ursa. I want to say it wouldn't surprise me if one of the supports go for a 4-staff, and we can see that the Rubik is already looking towards that one. So all of the items, just make sure that you can kite this guy, that you can stop him from dealing damage, and Bait are not going to be that strong.
Asphalt just going straight up front. He's taking the first engagement, and they even make sure that they get the Fiend Script. Puck, yeah, he's unable to move himself to safety. He even had Orb not used. That's a Witchblade Puck that just gets quite easily killed off here. Blizzy, though, is around the area. Will clear out the creeps in mid. Maybe even a tower for Bait. Let's see if they can keep up the pressure. They've got Laguna placed in bottom with the Yule Scepter. Zayats and Dream trying to keep the push there. They might have to force themselves to defend this mid tier 1 tower. Violent trying to go for a bit of a wraparound. And they want to establish control of this. They can't go for the mid tier 1.
The Ursa needs to be either more aggressive or just go back and miss from the map. If you're doing this, it's just not gonna work out because it's gonna open up for the Wraith King to do whatever he wants on the bottom part of the map. So either hide yourself or go more aggressively, and now he's gonna be going very aggressively on towards the bottom lane.
He's a hero, but that tower is also taking a lot of damage. Zayats finally gets bursted down. Skelly still doing damage to that tower. They found Dream, though, and now Zayats coming in with a buyback on the Snapfire. Dream is most likely going to lose his first life. Armlet toggling for a little bit. He's still holding himself alive and actually able to move out and get some lifesteal for himself. Muka with that Empower, it's going to buff up this Wraith King by quite a lot. Ursa getting bursted down to half HP. Ascol is there. Arrow will miss too. HYDRA disengaging now. Finally, they able to clear out that bottom wave too. By the time they went to take that fight, the tower still took like 400 or 500 damage.
Yeah, and they didn't lose anything significant there apart from Zayas. Now Bait going towards the mid lane. I like this one. They forced an issue on the bottom lane. Now it's time to make something happen as fast as possible. And the Kunkka.
Even X-Marked himself was hoping to X-Mark the Mirana there to interrupt that play. Now we have the coil being used. They do have RP. Muka, stolen RP, both onto Bait's cores. They're going to take down Pion, but not Violent. Violent being now chased up, and Mortimer's Kiss is available. Muka gets one burst in. Ascot wants to get the closing kill. Burn that Aegis. They won't get it. They won't use Mortimer's Kisses for it. Beautiful reaction there from Muka. Close range, able to steal, and instantly RP follow-up. Saves the day.
Yeah, I kind of feel like the Kunkka was expecting himself to get skewered there. Maybe that's why he used the X on himself. Maybe though he won't use it on the Mirana, but I'm considering that Laguna was jumping left and right, I kind of feel like he had the idea to save himself there. In the end, he's not going to be able to do so, and with the RP, they get a kill. In the end, a very beautiful stolen RP from the Rubik. It will save this mid lane tower, which Bait are desperate for, but I like that this time around, they're at least trying to find different ways to get it down, but still not successful.
Ursa with that Blink Dagger, able to make a bit of moves here into this top area. Continues to farm, 104. Still unkilled this game. There's a couple unkilled heroes. There's actually 4 of them. Total, and 3 of them on Bait's side. Shiva's up for the Kunkka. Look at Kunkka's armor already. We're 18 minutes in and he's got 30.
We saw in that engagement, he actually died without getting the boat off. That goes to show that Bait with this Ursa, they know how they want to kill him, even through the halberd and that much armor. So Blizzy, he just wants to survive. If the boat goes out there, it's a disastrous fight for Bait, and at some point, it might actually be. So HYDRA, they're doing this one quite well. They always like to extend the laning phase, but Bait, the thing they need to do is with the Bane, with the Mirana, go alone into some action, use the Yules and an arrow, use a sleep, force out some rotations where you won't be taking a fight, maybe even give your life, but open up the map for your team. And they're not going to be doing it. But HYDRA though, if you're not going to go for a smoke, then they'll do it, and Dendi might be the target here.
Dendi might be. He has his Kaya on his mind. This time he swapped around the order of the items. He did not go for Kaya into BKB. This time it's BKB into Kaya. Most likely Kaya Sanj too. She has been experimenting to be a good item. HYDRA moving around this bottom area with that smoke. Unable to quite close in, but at least Dream is there to provide the push. This tower should fall with all this minus armor applied. Yon reveals himself in the trees. Radiance Burn is there. Goes into the air, can't get an arrow because there's a random melee creep standing in between, and they finish off the tier 2. Fiend's Grip will be burnt by Gutsy, and look at this guy, it's Muka. He doesn't have a spell steal available though because he took lead for himself, so he won't get the Fiend's Grip, but at least provides a kill for Dream. And Bait, disengaging. You're losing a hero, losing a tower, losing an ulti. No kills for them.
I kind of like HYDRA playing, you know, the thing is, people tend to believe that smokes should be used for kills, and sometimes they should when you're trying to break someone's timing. But obviously, the goal of the smoke there was to connect with the Wraith King, take an area, and just take down the tower. That's what they wanted to do. That's what they accomplished. And with taking more and more out of the map, it's gonna be more important for HYDRA. It wouldn't surprise me if they tried to push in the bottom lane and make a move towards the top tier 1, because if you take the Roche away from the Ursa, the second one is probably the most important. With the first one, you're not just strong enough to dive completely, but if you take away all of the approaches for Bait for that second Roche, it's gonna be disastrous. Though for now, HYDRA, they're not forcing down the bottom lane too much, so I don't think that they have the strength to play super hard on the top lane, but at least they're gonna push in the wave. And Bait, now they go for a smoke themselves.
Dream has picked himself a Blink Dagger, and he's able to close in the gaps, the distances to save his allies, or jump on Bait's heroes, who are smoking up on a very, very long run, hoping for somebody to show up in this top lane, but there's no one there. Dendi will reveal himself, so at least one of the heroes is now on the map. And HYDRA, they know something's wrong. Something is up. They're going to smoke themselves up too. And Bait. Which one takes the bait? HYDRA. Gutsy on the high ground. Quick jump from Asphalt. Mortimer's Kiss is blown, so Bane will look to go down. He's got no Fiend's Grip, and they found the Magnus. And HYDRA style their way through this one. Without proper vision, but still get the 2 kills. And Bait with the wards placed down on the high ground. they just lose their heroes really quickly, and their way of taking that fight. Dandy needs to move out really soon because Blizzy almost gets an X mark on him.
And now with the triangle taking, Bait really need to get the enemies out of the triangle first and then defend the top tier one. And they're not going to be able to do so in time. We can see that HYDRA, they want to stay here for as long as possible, push in the mid lane, make or force Bait to move towards the mid lane and not the top lane, and that will allow the tower to fall. So HYDRA, really smart move there, but Bait taking too much time with that smoke, not seeing anyone from HYDRA on the map. They thought these guys were farming, but no, they were waiting for you, and just 1 or 2 kills, they're always gonna get everything they need. And now the Queen of Pain in the mid lane.
She's got a haste rune, she's got a BKB, we'll have to use it. That's a bit unfortunate. You got the action rune, but that's your 9-second BKB. Almost pretty much down the drain. If they make something happen with that haste rune, then maybe it's not all lost for that trade. But outside of that, HYDRA gonna call a pause. Take a bit of a breather. They got some lags. Classic. Wraith King is now also... Let's look at some items, actually. And also, maybe... No, not the tier 2 items. If there were tier 3s, maybe we could have talked about the neutral items. But in general, anything special on the board right now? Because I feel like we have... Well, we talked about Blizzy's itemization, the armor, the focus on the Ursa. He knows that that's his number one goal. The Radiance is really good against the Ursa as well because of the overpowered charges being burnt even if you don't hit the target. But for Bait.
On the Rubik as well.
Yeah.
Let's see on Bait. Okay, they're going for a BKB on the Magnus. That one I like, given that the Rubik can always respond with a lift after you use your RP or before you use your RP, and secure that either you don't use your spell or that it will get stolen 100%. So I'm liking this one for Magnus. Going for a shard makes absolutely no sense against the Rubik. We saw that in I think it was game 3 of TI Grand Finals where the Rubik completely countered Collapse, which right now is probably considered the best Magnus in the world. Dandy, I like his build. This is the best build for the Queen of Pain in my mind. You're not going to be getting kills with the Orchid. You're just going to put yourself in a bad spot. So BKB, just to make sure that you survive the X, survive the coil, and get yourself out. You want to be tanky with this hero. The damage will come out. Ursa, nothing too interesting there in the Morana. I'm just not sure about the Solar Crest. Buffing up the Ursa, he's gonna be kited so much, maybe should have gone for something that's gonna give him split push, like a Aghanims, maybe a Force Staff to help your guys once they get caught with an X. Maybe even try to go for a full-blown Wind Waker, but overall, Bait, with looking at their items, they're just not looking ready to fight, and HYDRA, they can take an engagement anytime.
Yeah, it's true. I do kind of like the Solar Crest up till the point where it's a cheaper item for support to build, plus it might just counter the effects of the Snapfire Solar Crest, which is a really great item pickup to buff up the Wraith King. So I guess there might be some pros and cons, maybe some anti-synergies in case of how the opponent is playing the game. So with that Solar Crest pickup, maybe it's just a direct item counter too.
Yeah, maybe he wants to use it on the enemy, considering that using it on the Ursa really doesn't give you that much. Okay, nice arrow attempt there. But overall, the next Roche is going to be the big fight. I don't think any of the teams are going to be forcing too much, though. HYDRA, they do tend to be more aggressive than they should, and Bait are definitely out of position right now. So if HYDRA want to, they can jump them. But the next Roche not going to be given for free, and Bait, considering the state of towers, despite being the Radiant, this is not going to be an easy engagement for them.
10 seconds for Roche to spawn. Both teams are keeping an eye open on the Roche pit. Maybe potentially find themselves some openings. Definitely want to have their vision. Both applying their own observer wards next to cliffs. Pion spots Blizzy and spots the Shiva's Guard. Now going for a Lotus Orb. So everything to buff up this Wraith King as much as possible.
So this is going to be one of... Yeah, this is going to be one of those games where buybacks so early on are important, because the second Roche, if HYDRA get it, the game could be over.
Ooh, dangerous. Nice dodge on the stun. At least Stream pushed away. Ascot looking for the coil, but already burning the first life off of the Wraith King. And BKB pumped by the Ursa. They're going to take down the Bane, and no Fiend Script will be used, but he will instantly buy back in. That's a Puck ulti burnt too, and no RP used, no Fiend Script used. HYDRA might just be undermanned here.
Yeah, they don't have the reincarnation. I think you just walk into the Roche, bait the fight, just force them to go in. It's in your name. Just go and do it. But Violent, it seems like he doesn't feel confident enough, and maybe they just want to wrap around and go for a fight. But Bait, I think they should have more confidence about going for this one.
This is probably their best moment right now because they have the upper hand. They burnt 2 big ultis. They even used the Mortimer's Kisses. Now Laguna gets the Observer Ward out. Okay, there was 3 sentries blocking that board. So making it difficult to hit the Obs Ward there in that cliff. Still, Bait super cautious, not going for the Roche pit. Violent wants to push out a wave potentially here. He knows another creep wave is coming, so he's turning himself around. And this is just seconds for HYDRA. HYDRA are in no rush.
Yeah, they need 60 more seconds for that. Okay, they will run in. Finally, Violent decides it's time to walk in. These guys are not going to give us a chance to fight.
Yep, Blizzy's inside the pit. Gonna get a bit of damage with the Tidebringer. He's taking the Ursa down to half HP. But still, Ursa is gonna lifesteal with those stacks built up on Roshan. 700 HP, has a BKB, needs to use it right now. The call comes out as well. Not gonna connect the boat as well. Will be a miss. Violent takes the Aegis. Bait will take it. Now Violent needs to move himself. The RP connects as well with a stolen arm from Yuka. Yuka comes in with a stolen one. They're gonna burn the Aegis. They're gonna take down Pion. They've killed Dendi too. And HYDRA, they've got the upper hand. Even if they give away the Roshan, they style it through. The disarm onto the Ursa. Violent chasing onto a support kill. Won't even get it. Won't even get to kill Sayats. And what a fight from HYDRA. Absolutely mental from these guys.
I don't know. It kind of looked perfect for Bait there. They got an arrow hit onto the puck. They got a sleep into the Kunkka. And they just ran in and they couldn't do anything.
How did the whole point that was perfect for Bait, and still HYDRA comes up on the top. That's the whole thing. Like, how? It looks so good for them.
I think it's the itemization. It has to be that, because the Ursa just isn't doing that much damage to the Kunkka. The boat comes out, you suddenly aren't doing that much damage to anyone, and HYDRA, as I stated in this game, at some point they will outlive you, and when it comes to dishing out damage constantly, they will be the ones doing it. Dendi also died relatively early in that fight, not even using a BKB, and that's probably the main issue why Bait couldn't give more in that fight. They get a beautiful RP, but immediately once it's stolen, there's no Queen of Pain to do the damage to stop the advance of the enemies. It's gonna make sure that HYDRA gets a one fight. Also, HYDRA, they did have some buybacks ready there, and the mid lane tower. So even if they started losing heroes, I feel like they could have been able to turn that fight around in the end. So overall, Bait again putting themselves in a tough spot, and the HYDRA, just with their items and preparation of the fight, they're gonna be able to win that one.
Such a hard position to be in now if you're Bait, because that was a morale loss. That was definitely a morale loss that they suffered after that team fight. Now 8,000 gold behind, knowing once again they're having to play this game as well from a losing position against HYDRA. HYDRA, who never let go of their lead in game number 1. It was fairly tight up till this this Roshan fight. And things are just gonna get harder from here. We have seen some small pushes into Bait's favor, especially in game 1 with the Luna. Getting a couple quick kills when the team fight starts. No Weaver, no saves. But right now, you don't have that tool called Luna. You don't have that overpowered or super strong late game, well, semi-late game here. Let's put it that way, because Luna does wear off, but still Luna was scary at that point. She hit her peak still at a fairly good timing. Now you have an Ursa.
And the problem is that now you don't have the Aegis on the Ursa. You can be on the aggressive. You lost all of your tier 2s. Oh, arrow?
Arrow is a miss, looking for the kill on this one, but that no BKB. Now Violent burns his as well. It's very disconnected, and Bait have just lost 2 BKBs. And HYDRA haven't even lost their Wraith King's ulti.
That's tough. You know, when you have outer towers left on the map, you can at least make sure that you fight around those. You can make sure that you have some vision around those towers and control an area from which maybe you can come towards another angle where the enemies don't expect it. When all of your lanes are pushed in, but just a second hold that thought, Dendi in trouble.
That's the last BKB. He pops it just before the boat connects. The silence on the Wraith King, but that only does so much. Pion can't get the connection. He's got that RP ready, but he's just gonna leave himself for dead. He says, my bad. But it was a hard game already for Pion. It's not been his series on this Magnus for sure. And HYDRA, they're playing this clean. They're playing this so clean.
Yeah, they're not gonna risk anything. Look at how they're playing. Despite the Magnus being dead, they're just gonna be using DX constantly to continue the pushing. Though Dream says, nah, just let me go. Let me at him and
Positioning
help
as
him.
well. Like, they're placing themselves so spread it out from each other's. Really no way of Bait looking for a fight here, but this melee Rax now also dropping. What does Bait do?
Oh, you have one fight left in you, have the RP, you want to make something happen, but HYDRA will not allow it by going to the top lane Violent. He has a BKB TP out. What will they steal? It will be the Enrage, so this Robit can get mad as well, but okay. Doesn't want to do it just yet. At least Violent gets himself out. This is a good time. Bait, they need to go for a smoke now, and okay, they bring down
Surprising
Ascol.
move there from Dendi. It's gonna come at the cost of this Bane, however. So Dendi finding a kill with the Sonic Wave. That's a dead puck. 600 gold for the Queen of Pain. And also building into Shiva's card, so that will make Dendi a bit tankier against Tightbringers, and the Wraith King won't be able to at least blow up this Queen of Pain right away. Though, I'm not sure if you saw that, but with the BKB on the Ursa and the teleport, it ended at the same time as the TP finished. So if Syats was like, if he was luckier by like 0.0001 seconds, that Scatter Blast, I'm not sure if it would have been. Yeah, actually it doesn't have the shard, so never mind. He wouldn't actually have been able to cancel that TP. So never mind about that. Though.
So, anyways, you ask what do Bait do? The thing is, when the enemies come to your base, it's gone, right? There's nothing that you can do. So you need to fight them when they are not prepared, when HYDRA are not prepared, not positioned well with the Wraith King up front and everyone else scattered in the back. So that fight on the top lane, it was actually quite good, and I expected Bait to go for a full-on team fight with a smoke later on, but then he destroyed the puck, which is okay. But now, while the puck was dead, they needed to make a move, and Bait, they're not doing it. HYDRA, we can see where they are, but okay, at least Bait, with the outpushing of the lanes, they are preparing for a possible move around the map, but they need to be faster right now because the puck, he is coming back and he'll be there to help his team for sure.
Dream is going in onto the high ground with the X mark from the Conka, getting some damage. They can just slow siege this if they wanted to. Not like there's much that they can do. This Wraith King is a massive issue, which they can't really deal with. Laguna loses his courier. Ascol is pushing out the bot wave. HYDRA choking out the map from Bait, and Bait running out of options here.
Yeah, the bottom lane is the worst one to fall because from the triangle you're controlling the top and the mid. You're pushing the waves in. When you're controlling the triangle, it's very hard for the enemies to fight. So HYDRA, they really don't have to commit much now to controlling the map, and they're just waiting for Roche, which is, as I said, these guys tend to be a bit more aggressive. But it seems like now they want to play this game as clean as possible, or do they? Because Dream is again moving forward.
Yep, they found Dendi. Pops his BKB because that torrent actually did connect. That would have been Dendi losing his life. Very hard game for him too. He's holding on to 4,700 gold. So that should be, well, now he's actually just sending his courier out, so we won't even get the Shiva's guard on time. That's not necessarily. HYDRA still continuing with the pushing bottom. The same thing. X-Mart high ground. X-Mart high ground. Arrow. He hits a creep. Dream is able to walk out of the way from this one. Pion pops his BKB. Able to push the Wraith King. A lot of burst damage there from Dendi. And making at least sure that this ulti does not go in vain. But still, the RP misses. The blink out from the Wraith King. He gets out. And Pion misses the RP. And it is stolen by Muka.
Okay, that's just a disaster from Bait. That's
demoralizing.
We're coming down to, yeah, we're coming down to Bait are now playing okay. They're pushing the bottom part of the map and they're expecting someone to be there. But the thing is that HYDRA are never gonna take that bait. The reason for it is because they know that at some point it's gonna push out, and if it's pushing in, that means that there are multiple heroes there. They just continue playing towards the top lane, forcing Bait inside of the base, and just positioning-wise, everything on the board is going in favor of HYDRA, and I think Bait, they should just go for a smoke, try to go for a play, because as time goes on, this game becomes more and more impossible for them.
Violent has just one kill on this Ursa, now building into a Monkey King bar. He's already got the backup. He needs that MKB, so he's able to burst down that Wraith King without missing hits to the Radiance. That's pretty much the Radiance counter.
And the Heaven's Halberd as well on the Kunkka. The best possible course of action for Bait would be to kill the Kunkka without him getting any spells off. But he has 47 armor, 20% evasion, and 4000 HP. So their ability to kill this guy is pretty much non-existent. And Roche will fall with that Hydra. They're definitely going to be looking to end this one. Again, Violent is split pushing on the bottom lane, but I don't even think that Hydra need to address this. Just take the triangle back and continue to slow siege Bait. They might even decide to go a bit more aggressive, considering the Trade King now, he has 3 lives.
Well, now that we're at the 36-minute marker, Aegis, Cheese, both secured for HYDRA. And potentially the last maybe seconds, maybe minutes of the game. At least if HYDRA has something to say about it. But Bait needs a team fight of their lifetime right now. Got the Nightmare. Oh, he's already popped this BKB. Pyon is already putting it prematurely, making sure that they're moving this Wraith King. They're trying to force staff him all the way to the fountain. It's not going to work out, but it's a possibility. Meanwhile, Violence has actually sniped the backline. He's taken down the supports, and again, Bait has a chance to take this fight and maybe even win it with a Fiend script on the Wraith King, but that's still an Aegis that they need to burst through. Gutsy gets the full duration through. Ascol with the silence. He's juking it with the Arnold. Then he comes in with the Sonic Wave. There's a bit of damage, and they're breaking the coils. They're breaking them, and Laguna gets sniped by Ascol. He's moved in. He's in safety. He's inside the trees. Dendi finds him with the Scream. Is able to get it. 2 buybacks, though, is the cost for Bait to hold this base. They did not get the cheese off of the Kunkka. They did not get the 3rd life off of this Wraith King. Still, it is not over.
Genius defense from Bait. Really a genius defense. Like, force the Wraith King, force him back. The Ursa, he doesn't care about the Wraith King. Yo, you guys can hold that guy in place. You don't need to kill him. Just don't let him come back for me. He destroys the backlines, allowing the Magnus to have free reign for more skewers in that fight. So that was just beautiful. Trying to push the enemies inside of a fountain, basically. And HYDRA, they just weren't prepared for it. So Bait just understanding perfectly. And they were probably talking about how they wanted to fight from the start.
They did, and execution was beautiful.
Clear sailing now.
It was so good that the Observer also missed the 2 kills from Violent, but still, that was like a game saver basically. The Ursa able to jump the backline, Pyon with his prematurely pop BKB, so he doesn't get hit by an accidental torrent on the most crucial moment. He wanted to make sure I will not fail upon this day. Dendi goes for the DD rune. He doesn't get it. He didn't get it.
At least he survives. He didn't pop the BKB immediately when he blinked. If they would have pulled him back, they'd have no basher, so maybe he would be okay either way. But still, maybe he would die to 2 crits of the Wraith King. And HYDRA now, because they know that the enemies that are outside of their base, they finally want to get a fair fight. Let's fight outside of your home, outside of your doors. And with Dream having the DD, he's gonna one-shot anyone he sees.
Dreaming of a dream. Laguna on the left side. Muka is there. Smokes has popped. He's instantly turning around, potentially hoping that there might be some more people. HYDRA, they're fully ready for a team fight. TP back from Blizzy. Gonna be there to cut the creep wave. Hoping to catch someone as well there with the tidal wave. Nobody home. Everybody is already back to Bait's base.
Laguna doesn't even know how close to death he was there. Having a gem would have been quite a big one, especially because he doesn't have a buyback. The Bait, they're still in this one. They're playing against the cheese, but the Aegis is not in play. And HYDRA, after that fight, they're probably not going to feel confident going up the hill. They know that Bait have found a way to fight this one, and Wraith King still not having a BKB might be an issue, considering he's always going to get skewered back.
Closing up on the 40-minute marker. Might as well take a look at these graphs. Look at this graph. We're at 18,000 for HYDRA. And XP is also in their favor. Win percentage still exists for Bait. I will not say any numbers because right now I just want to see how do the players react. How do the players play it out?
Well, HYDRA, they would like to push in the top lane and expect for Bait to be in the bottom lane. They might have needed to do this a little bit earlier, because Bait now, they're way too afraid. And HYDRA, they're going for this play, but this time around, Bait will not go there. And they're going to go for a smoke of their own. This might actually allow them to finally get the triangle back. You need to start to get parts of the map in your favor. The triangle is the first one, then the bottom jungle, and then you can maybe go to the enemy parts of the map over the river. And it seems like
Dreamy's gonna walk into the smoke. Beyond is right there. He does get Abyssal Bladed right away, but the Nightmare save is there. Blizzy, he's on top of the Magnus. Magnus barely survives with 200 HP. Blizzy wants to kill him off quickly with a Tidebringer. Tries to get to the dragons, but can't find an opening. Meanwhile, Dendi, there's 2 fights breaking loose. They're trying to get the kill on Dream, trying to get the kill on Violent. Violent trying to get the first kill onto this Wraith King. He's able to get it. So he's popping the Reincarnation. Meanwhile, Dendi finding with Askel. Askel moving away at the same time. The bow will connect as well. Violent doesn't actually hit him, but the RP goes through with a stolen RP again. He does it. Muka, he makes it pay. Dendi jumping back in, still wants to make sure. Magnus coming with a buyback. Still Violent holding alive, but not for long. Dendi 1 versus 4. He gets 1, but it's not enough. HYDRA are cleaning house. Gatsy, you might have TP'd out, but Yahtzee, they've got Askel for a double kill. They kill off the Bane, and Bait just might be out of this one. HYDRA, they've got it in the end. It's a full team wipe. Ursa with the buyback. Dendi still holds on to his. What a back and forth fight, but Muka with the Rubik. This guy.
Yeah, this is the problem, that your Magnus got caught immediately. So as soon as he used the RP this time around, he didn't have the BKB, and then the Rubik could lift him up and turn it around. But I have to say, Bait, that was perfect fighting there. Being caught on the spot, their most important hero for a team fight being caught, being the Magnus, and they pull him out, and he still positions himself well for a good RP. Sure, Muka stole it, but you know, he did the buyback, so they were kind of expecting the Rubik to be dead in that situation. Maybe like, I killed the Rubik, and then the Magnus is like, you can do whatever I want, but he comes back from the dead. So Bait, again, pretty solid performance when it comes to team fighting. This team, it has potential, but the thing is, they need to start moving around the map better, because these team fights that they're playing is insane.
They caught the Rubik. Yep. Tossed into the air. Magnus Airlines. Violent will get the kill on Muka. Askel looking for some wards in the area. He's also got an A on this now on this puck, so won't get instantly bursted. But still.
I think Bait,
no,
they
no
should
buybacks.
get on their knees and pray to the gods of Dota to give them an early Roche, right? Give it to us immediately.
If there's any Bait fans, if there's any Bait fans watching the game right now, bless RNG. I think that's the best we can do right now for Bait. But for HYDRA, they are still holding the lead in this game. For Bait, I think one step at a time is the way to go. And Pion able to secure another kill there. Roshan is up in 30 seconds minimum. There's a chance that Roche will be an instant spawn. Actually had that on my I don't know which tournament we were casting, but we had a 0.5 second Roshan respawn timer. That was absolutely sick. And now the jump from Violent. They've got found Blizzy in the front. The arrow is there. Askel dodges it. Pion, he's got BKB. He's gonna push Blizzy out. Then he goes for the silence. BKB popped as well by Violent. Ursa still holding on to his ult, but there's a buff, there's an ulti thrown on top of the Ursa. Askel is going to try and control Violent. He's got Satanic, he can try and turn around. Dendi coming back and getting the silence at least onto the Wraith King, and now hacking away at the Ursa with the Satanic, with the heal, with the damage. The Cookie is going to come in as well. They're going to get stunned with the Ursa, and the RP coming up from Pion, and Dendi with the backline trying to get some work done. Bait is already out, and they're going to lose this Ursa too. That's a dieback on Violent. Pion is going to fall too, and it's not going to be enough from Bait. Even everything that they gave, HYDRA is just going to take everything away from them. Dendi going for the TP out. Askel finds him, but he has no way to cancel it. However, Bait, their base is in peril.
Yeah, and we now see going on the Kunkka, not a smart move. He has 5,000 HP. This guy, he doesn't die. You can't rip his heart out. It's just too strong at this point. And Bait, now, they are not calling GG. They still want to fight. And this glyph, it will give them some time, but with the creeps coming, this should be the throne going down very soon.
You need a Dream Fiend script. You need to Nightmare one of the heroes. Snapfire's on the side. Dendi jumping in. Mika stolen the Scream. It does a bit of extra damage. Go-Up just goes in, sent into the air. Has a Hex stick available. Gotzi's already taken out. Wraith King slowly ticking down and almost losing his life there. Dendi's getting killed. And that's the end of the story. That is the end of the line. Fiend script just instantly disappears. Dendi has a buyback, but he's not going to use it. It looks like it's going to be over. Dendi still buys back for one more time. Goes onto the Snapfire. Gets a bit of damage in with the BKB pop. Pushes away Muka. Blizzy and Ascol and Dream surrounding him. Laguna coming in too. And now Zayad's coming in with the buyback. So we're going to still have an undermanned bait against the hands of HYDRA. HYDRA, they clear out the last. The raid boss. Dendi's down. GG's called. 2-0 for HYDRA. We will not see a bait victory on this day.
Yeah, I'm really liking how HYDRA optimized in this one. Bait, obviously, their way to approach these team fights is insane. HYDRA in this game, they were not being careless. They definitely weren't. They knew what they're going up against. They were playing really, really slow and really, really smart. And in the end, they still managed to win it just because of those awesome item pickups. I'm loving it. What Kunkka went for. The Rubik going for an early 4-staff. The Wraith King going for a Radiant. Something that we don't see too often just to counter this Ursa. And in the end, it did work out. Bait, on the other hand, just amazing performance in team fights. But their movement in the mid game is still something they need to work heavily on.
Exactly. Like there's still a lot of pieces missing from Bait, but still, like, their laning stage is okay. The early fights they do with this QoP timing, with Dendi getting those rotations out. We've seen this in like 2 or 3 different games where Dendi comes out with a triple kill, maybe even 4 kills, but still they can't get that net worth on their side. The farming side is lacking. Their map control is lacking. They get 1 or 2 things right, but they're still missing 3 to 4 things in their own play. And they need to start working on those as soon as possible. Like, we're almost at the end of the second week of DPC. We're closing up on the halfway mark of this DPC season. Well, it's only like we've been doing 2 weeks, and we're almost at the halfway marker. But still, you got to start cleaning up those victories, and especially against those teams that you're able to snatch points off of them. That's being like the open qualifier teams, for example. Well, HYDRA was an open qualifier team, but I think HYDRA honestly would have been a team that should have gotten a straight direct invite into DPC, because now they're 3-0. They're leading the group stage here for Eastern Europe, and they're looking pretty hot, really cool. We will have a winners interview with them too, so we're gonna keep on talking here with Harry Freak. So don't worry, we might have missed them. They weren't on time, but we will get it here anyway. So don't disappear from the channel. But with HYDRA, I think we can talk a lot of positive things about them, the way that they play, and how they understand the meaning of their drafts and their timings. And like you said, when Dendi got that quick triple kill for him at the start, it didn't change their game in any way.
Yeah, it didn't really, and this is the problem with Bait. But I have to say, I'm liking how they play. They could actually get a game of Fantastic 5 or maybe V Gaming, as you stated. When the tournament started and how Bait were playing, I was like, nah, they can't do anything. But they are improving. They're trying to make different moves around the map, and they almost made it work in this time. Remember, Panda, they only lost 1 lane of racks, and overall, it was looking pretty solid for them in this one. And the Dendi doing so much damage in that game. He actually did the most damage. I have to say, this guy, there's still potential in him. Bait just need to find the right way to play the mid game, and this game could be really, really big.
It could. What about draft-wise, talking about both of these teams? Was there any improvement with Bait and the understanding of how they forward things against their opponents? Because we felt like there was a couple missing pieces in game number 1. Only 6 kills with not 6 kills. With their entire setup was kind of lacking here and there. Do you feel like they understood things better here with HYDRA?
Well, HYDRA definitely understand how to play their drafts better, but Bait's drafts, they're not bad per se. Their drafts are usually very skill-based, which we see that these guys definitely can deliver in that department. So I think that these are the right drafts for the team, in my mind, for Bait. I think these are the drafts that they can make happen, but still need a little bit of work. On the other hand, HYDRA, they understand what they need to do perfectly.
Right. yeah, I'm gonna gonna have to tell this to you on stream. Let's jump to the interview
Yeah, I
channel
know.
and set our things in place as we're preparing for the winner interview. We actually have Ascol this time from HYDRA. So we're going to hear his thoughts in just a moment as soon as he appears into our voice channel here with Harry Freak. So I think for when we're looking at the future for HYDRA, things are looking pretty good. They've started off strong. They've beaten a couple of good teams. They will be playing against, I think they had V Gaming coming up next week. For Bait, they're going to be playing up against Namiga, and that's already a phase where you're like, you need to win this game.
Yeah, but Namiga is a very, very tough team to beat, I have to say. So it's not something that I'm looking towards Bait winning. I still think they should be focusing on Fantastic 5 and V Gaming just to stay in the DPC. But ego isn't gonna allow you to be like, okay, I can't win against these guys, and you really shouldn't have an approach like that. So hopefully they can improve even more, and it's gonna be quite big if they take a game away from Amiga Gaming.
All right, and if I understood correctly as well, we do have our player arrived here as well. So Ascol, congratulations on your win. It seems like we always have HYDRA here at the winner interview.
Yeah, thanks. Appreciate that.
You guys are looking pretty good, pretty hot. You take first place in the Eastern European Division 2. What are your primary thoughts right now with this win?
This win?
Mm-hmm.
Not sure actually. I guess we just wanna win everyone in this DPC season, like 7-0.
Well, it is starting to look like that. You are 3-0 currently. You've only dropped one map so far, and that was also against Namiga on the Monday matchup. Both of these games, 42, 45 minutes against Bait. Did they offer a challenge today? Because they were pretty strong with the early fights.
Yeah, I think in the first game, like they were really surprising us with their smokes. Like they were going in the directions that I never thought they would go. We were standing on a vision, and every time I was playing Ember, and they caught me like every time, like, and I was thinking like how they can even kill me, but they always surprised me with the like strange movements. I was impressed by that actually. Like everyone, like Windstrike and Nemiga were playing like default, but Bait did something like that. Actually, they like outplayed me, I would say.
You did have a pretty good game on the Ember Spirit in game number 1. How are you able to keep up with so much hero damage? Like, you have a Phantom Assassin in your team. You're both doing 39,000 damage. You felt like you were all over the place. Were you feeling super confident in the first game, or how did you come up with such a great performance?
I think I'm just confident in my team. So I always get everything what I need from the games. I always farm and get 6 slotted, and then just, I mean, if I get 6 slotted in this game, it was like pretty easy. There's no way they can stop me. Also with the axe on Weaver, I think there's no way they can ever kill anyone of us.
All right. Harry, go ahead.
Yeah. So in both games, you kind of slowed down the game. Is this something that you like to do, or it just ended up being that way for you in the first 2 weeks of the DPC, that you are just playing drafts like that? You like to slow the game, or is it the play style that we should be expecting from you?
Nah, I think we were just slowing down the game because we were not everything was going according to our plan. We were always getting caught on the mid lane by this Magnus, and at some point it was like, I remember the first and the second game, like 2 or 3 times they just made a big comeback on the middle lane. Just Magnus goes and then RP's 2 heroes, and we're just dead. So of course it's not the gameplay that we want to slow down the game. No, we can end games really fast, but I mean, enemies are pretty good too, so they just caught us on a mistake.
Yeah, I felt like Bait was pretty good as well. Though the second game, I want to talk about this one because I was really impressed by the item choices of the entire team. So, is it something that Radiance, the Halberd, the Four Staff, and the Rubik, is it something that someone in the beginning said, "Yo, guys, we just need to itemize against the Sursa," or was it individually coming out from the players and going for those items, understanding how strong they are?
I remember for sure that I said to Blizzy that she should buy face boots and Albert, and Dream said that she's going to buy Radiance and two subs. They weren't saying much. I guess they just felt like they were in danger that bought two four stuffs.
Okay, so from the start, the at least the cores had the idea that they wanted to counter the Sursa. So, anyways, did Bait surprise you, considering that everyone is looking at them as the weaker team today? They played a little bit better though. That did they surprise you overall? And do you think they have a chance to stay in this in the DPC?
I think Bait is kind of underrated team because I remember them playing against CIS Regex. They did both games pretty well. I think they almost win the first one. And honestly, in comparison, like we were playing against Windstrike and Nemiga. I think Bait can beat both of them easily. They impressed me more than these two teams.
Okay, that's actually an interesting approach. And one more thing, okay, T-Panda obviously asked you already. You want to go 7-0, but who do you think is gonna be your toughest opponent? And are you prepared for every single opponent, or you go one series at a time?
Um, we played against CIS Rejects on the D2CL, and we lost, but it wasn't like we couldn't do anything. I think it was pretty close games. And also, I think the only team that is like mysterious for me is Gambit, because I have never played against them. Like other teams, I think we can beat them easily, but the Gambit is just something I don't know about. Maybe this team I'm more scared of Gambit than anyone else, I think. But we will see. I guess they didn't play much of games, so.
Yeah, so we only had the opportunity to meet Blizzy here. So say hello to him because we have gotten really good friends with him. Given that you already sent him, but now we finally met you as well, and thank you for the really nice answers.
Yeah,
Thank you for
sure.
tuning in. I have one more question I want to ask from you, Askold. So I interviewed one of your players at the start of DPC. I talked to Muka about what is his favorite dish. And I got really interested in, I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing this correct, but he said something like sumolok. It's like
Oh,
manti dumplings or something like that. So I wanted to know more about Kyrgyzstani foods and stuff. Is there any other dish I should probably check out, like some kind of Kyrgyzstani food thing that I should know? Something that you like.
well, I always like spaghetti, so I guess it's beshbarmak. Beshbarmak.
Okay. All right. Okay. I just had to get that out. Thank you so much, Askold, for the interview, and enjoy your victory.
Okay, thanks. Bye.
Bye, man. All right, we are going to close out the stream here as well for the Eastern European Division 2. We are complete with our 2 series for the day. I think we've had a great ride today, Harry. Again, 2-2-0s. When do we get to see more of those 3-map series? We've only had 2 of them so far in the past 2 weeks.
You know, we are hoping for them every single time. Fantastic Five
are.
versus Gambit will be the first one played after this one, and I kind of feel like Gambit will be taking that one 2-0. So I don't know. I'm really hoping that it comes out as soon as possible. But come on, Panda, you had some issues putting on your bow tie, and now again you're talking about food there with the players. I really don't understand.
I mean, I'm always interested about new stuffs, new cultures, new foods, and all that. And you know, being a curious person and all that. And when it comes to curiosity, I think there's one more thing I want to say before we finish off and close the stream today. There's been some rumor, there's been some talk. I think it might have been confirmed or unconfirmed. I'm not sure what the situation is with Sexy Bambo, but I would please tell all of you viewers to refrain yourselves until anything is confirmed about the whole underlying situation, because we want to give respect to both the family members, the closest people to Sexy Bambo, and all of his friends, all the people nearby. and we send them all our love and everything that we possibly can, all our energy, because it's a horrible case to hear what is going on. So I hope that we do get our information known as soon. But please give the respect, give the time and the space for the people nearby to come up with the official announcement if something is going on. So please give the respect to them and the respect from us as well, because we care about the Dota community. We care about the community as a whole and all the people in it. So all we can really send is just send energy and send our love to everybody out there. Stay safe, and we will see you on Sunday. There's more Eastern European Dota, and for our part, we shall return. I think we're back on Monday once again with more casts. Might be doing something during the weekend, but still, from us, from T-Panda, and from Hairy Freak, all of our love to all of you people out there, and we will see you with the next episode. So until then, take care of yourselves, and bye-bye.